If you've watched my videos before, you might be surprised by how simple and quiet they are. That is intentional. I'm not a loud person, and my everyday life is quite simple. I love it that way. I'm a mix of someone who works, but I also enjoy living slowly at my own pace. So I live in the city. It brings me so much joy to balance my work with the small things of life. That is why I struggled to find a niche for my channel. I eventually realized that it's about me, my life, my experiences, my thoughts, and even though my life may seem boring to some people, it's what makes me feel truly happy and blessed. Part of this is by chance, which is it's by default. Um, Another part of it is by choice, by design. You see, London is a beautiful city, I agree, but you really have to know where to look, and it can be quite expensive. Like many big cities, you get what you pay for. If they could charge you for the air that you breathe, they probably would. So a lot of people are just trying to get by, but you'll find that living in London, you have to chart your own way. You have to find your own path in London. And as an immigrant, you get to design your own life if you are intentional about it. I spend a lot of time at home, and that's perfectly fine with me. My routine is simple. I do cooking, I do cleaning, I work, I eat, I sleep like everybody else. And when I look back, some of my happiest moments have been in these small, everyday, mundane tasks. It doesn't take much for me to feel happy. I don't need a lot to be happy. I'm not your typical 40-year-old black woman. I'm fine with just a few clothes, and the very basics will do me just fine. I look forward to simple things like walking with my husband or even spending time alone doing word searches, as you'll come to find out or you've probably seen on my channel, and trying new recipes. I love making soups from the culture that I've come to adopt and trying new things. Even if I'm not the best cook in the world, I wouldn't say I am. I'm always learning, and I like it that way. I think I'm like this because I'm an ambivert. So it's the midpoint between an introvert and an extrovert. I speak when I need to. I find it exhausting, and I find that I always have to always revert back to my own time in order for me to recharge. I'm not the loudest at the party, so you won't find me chatting away. I speak when I absolutely have to. And I also find that I am that woman when called upon to say a few words. I'll say I don't have much to say, and then I find myself speaking 5 minutes later down the line. So it's a very dynamic cross. So I'm an ambivert. Um, I don't go to parties, and I'm not excited about picking out party clothes or ashwebi. You won't find me doing that. I also find that as I grow up, my friends are not the typical either. I don't know, maybe we've stayed in this country for far too long, but I get just as much joy from my quiet activities as other people do from loud and exciting events. So, society, especially for those of us from African backgrounds in the West, we often have pressures on us to be bold, to stand out, and to live our best lives. It's as if being boring and average is the worst thing ever that can happen to you. Nowadays, we tend to find influencers on social media, and we feel like we have to constantly upgrade our lifestyles to feel good about ourselves. But for me, that's where I draw the line. I'm not going to do that. I choose not to do that. It's not just on social media, but advertisements as well tell us to buy things, to go on this trip and that trip, drive this fancy car and the next best car. And only then can you live an extraordinary life. You can't keep up with that. Sure, there's some truth to it, but it doesn't tell the full story. So, constantly seeing these things um, changes how we think about happiness. It makes us believe that we need more, we're constantly buying. But I've come to realize that living a simple life doesn't mean I don't have dreams. I've got aspirations. I have a dream of learning to swim before I die. I dream of living in a nicer part of London. It could just be around the corner, it doesn't matter, but it's a nicer part of London. I dream of having a wardrobe that's full of what? White clothes, just like Lisa Ray McCoy. But these dreams don't take away from the happiness that I feel in my own everyday life. They might sound pedantic and trivial, but they're still dreams. If I can't find contentment now, I won't find it anywhere else. So I also find that I am drawn to people who share the same real raw parts of their lives in a world where so much of what we're seeing is fake. I love seeing what people really eat for breakfast or what their homes truly look like, not just vacation spots or the fancy Airbnbs that people now post as their homes. I don't want that. I'm paying more attention to genuine people because their stories feel more real and meaningful to me. So maybe you love living in a fast paced life, and that's fine. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying a slower, simpler one either. In fact, there's so much value in it because I get to pour out my mind when the opportunity arises, when I create that time for me. But also, it helps us to build better relationships with people who matter to us, our families, our friends, our partners, husbands, wives. It gives us the time to fully appreciate those moments while they last, and nobody's going to be here forever. So I'm learning to celebrate the small, even the smallest of things, and to enjoy that journey that I am currently on. I'm not in a haste to rush to the finish line. Life is about finding joy in what we truly love. So no matter how small or tiny or silly it seems to other people, it just doesn't matter. I'm taking the time to savor it, to live in it moment by moment, minute by minute. And I am constantly reminding myself that life comes in chapters, it comes in seasons. And in this chapter of it, I'm taking it slow. I'm appreciating the beauty of this ordinary, beautiful life. I want to thank you for watching. I don't say that all the time. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'm excited about what's to come. Tell me about your own boring life too.